All right, good afternoon. Good morning, still morning. Good morning. Oh, good morning, come on now. Good morning. Thank you. I don't mind you yelling at me, just as long as it's good morning right now. I want to welcome you to what I think is such a cool event. As was mentioned about this day as far as the significance of the end of World War II and the signing of the treaty, for me that's personal because my dad fought in World War II. And for me to grow up, and he passed away years and years ago, but for me to be able to have days like this where I remember not only my father, but also remember that he put his life out there so that you and I can sit here today in 2018 and get an education and be in a place like this. I mean, that's huge. And he, among many hundreds of thousands of people that have done that and are doing that, millions who have done that and are still doing that. So I hope that you see that significance in what that means on a day like today where we call it World Peace Day. I think it's really interesting because as we talk about this institution, one thing about you as students here at GRCC, I know that we are that college, we're the community's college. We're the college that you come to school here, and as you know, we don't have dorms, we don't have residence halls, we don't do that. You come here, you get your classes, you stay, and sometimes you have to eat here, sometimes you may be involved in one of our student organizations, but then you go home, or then you go back to where you are. One of the things about us is that this institution, while you are here, we want to make sure that we provide things for you that not only help in terms of how you get past a class, but also are things that kind of give you some other tools as far as just life is concerned as well. Because when you have days like this where we start talking about what world peace is all about, we can talk about world peace and talk about all around the world what that looks like. I want you and I to talk about what does world peace look like right here where we are? What does Grand Rapids peace look like? What does GRCC peace? Because that's all we have to control, right? I cannot control someone on the other side of this planet and what they do. I can't even control someone on the other side of this state of what they do. But what I can control and what I have an opportunity to do something about is me right here, right now. And so that to me is why days like this are cool, because you and I can start focusing a little bit on us. I think it's nice when we can sit next to people who may or may not see things the way we do, who might not have the same political affiliation. Maybe I'm not in the same party. Maybe I don't have the same political views that person has, but I can still, hopefully, that's where we need to get to, I can still sit next to that person and talk to them about what civility is all about. I can still sit next to them and talk about, well, here's what my class said. What do you think about that? That, friends, is what people in my generation, as you see at the national, that's what we're losing. We're losing the ability just to be able to talk. And just because we disagree doesn't mean that we have to sit and cuss each other out and walk away. Just because we disagree doesn't mean that we have to walk away from it and then talk real bad and put things on social media about that person, how dumb they are. We disagree, and that's okay, as long as we can civilly disagree. You are the generation that needs to make sure that that is done. Because some folks in my generation, we've lost it. We aren't doing that very well. I have to depend on you to do that. And let me tell you why I have to depend on you to do that. I have a 15-year-old daughter. She looks to people like you. She pays attention to people like you. People who are older than her, people who are in college, people who are focused on doing something positive with their life because they're getting their education. She looks at you. I want her to look at you, and I want her to see people who will be able to communicate and communicate well in terms of, even if you disagree with me or not, we can still have some level of civility, and we can still have relationship. Just because we don't see eye to eye doesn't mean we can't have relationship. I need her to see that in you. I need you to make sure that this world for her, as she comes along and as her kids one day come along, they're going to look to your generation, because soon you are the ones who will get as I say, you're going to get the keys to the car. All us old people will have to go and do our little retirement thing and hopefully be able to retire peacefully and be able to live that way. But you get the keys to the car at that point. You got to drive. And you got to drive this country. You got to drive what we do. but I want you to do it in a way that is exemplary for my daughter, for her friends, for their kids that'll come along, because you're the ones who are gonna have it, guys. It's gonna be on you. And all you have to do is you have that maintenance and control of you and what you do. I had someone the other day, I was at a conference, and this lady said something really good. I thought, man, I gotta keep that one. She talked about how right now we have so much disagreement and we just can't sit and talk civilly to each other. She said, what if, she said, on average, when you sit next to someone who may have a different political values, different set of political values than you, she said, on average, the person sitting next to you, there's about 30 to 40% of things that we truly do agree on. There's about 30 to 40%. But unfortunately, we're sometimes choosing to concentrate on the 60 to 70% that we don't agree on. See what happens when you focus and concentrate on the things you agree on? Build on the things you agree on. Make 40% 45, 45 to 50, that you can at least see eye to eye and that you can at least talk about. Because if we talk about this idea of world peace, that's how we get there. You don't get world peace in some big, huge blanket. You get to peace, you get to civility, one person at a time. And you're at an institution that we can get that done. This can be that school that helps get that done, because I'm looking at West Michigan's future right here. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a student at GRCC. I'm glad you're here because this is my favorite school. I love it here. This is the oldest community college in the state of Michigan, and one of the oldest in the country. You may not have known that. We're one of the oldest community colleges in the country. We've been around in Michigan, the state of Michigan, longer than any other community college, over 100 years, because this college cares about this community. And if we care about our community, that means we care about you, because you are the community of Grand Rapids. And I'm glad you're at this community's college. Thank you guys very much. Before I sit down, can I just have all of our English faculty and department, can you guys just stand? Our English department, they're the ones who put this all together, and I want you guys to recognize them. There's food, there's all kinds of stuff today. It's because of these individuals who cared enough to say, we need to put this day together to talk about what peace looks like on our campus and in this country. Can you guys give them a round of applause, please? Thank you.
All right, one more round for Dr. Pink. Thank you very much. That was great. All right, folks. So just a couple quick things I want you to be aware of. When we think about world peace, it doesn't mean you have to get on a plane and go work in some country that you maybe don't even know how to pronounce to make this happen. A lot of this starts right in your local day-to-day interactions. Maybe that time someone cuts you off, you can think about, okay, maybe I can just chill. I don't need to angry tweet about them. And at least if you are going to angry tweet, wait till you park, right? Think of that. Some things to think about. Who here, and keep your hands raised, this is a little survey, who here comes from or has their parent came from another country and immigrated to the United States? Keep your hands raised. Who here has a relative besides parents or grandparents, cousins, nephews, in-laws, someone who comes from another country? Keep them raised. Let's see what we got. All right. Keep going, keep going. Who here has traveled to another country? Raise your hand if you've traveled to another country. Keep them all raised there. So you can see in this community college, when we talk about community, we're not talking about Grand Rapids and Kent County and maybe a little bit of Ottawa County. Jeez, Ottawa County. We're talking about all the people you connect with, right? And so today, as you're thinking about that, keep them in mind. How can you keep that lineage, that cultural heritage, all of the different, generations of people who came before you and will come way after you. How can we make sure that they have a world that's safe, that allows them to exercise their human rights and live to their full potential? Speaking of full potential, you all know sitting in a seat, you get a little bored, you get a little tired, sitting in classes all day, you need a little more energy. So for today, we have music for you that will be played all day, brought to you by DJ TJ over there in the corner. So he will be to use the vernacular, dropping those sick beats for you all. Seems weird coming out of this voice, but okay, there you go. So we got music coming out for you there, stuff to listen to. At 12 o'clock, we're going to stop for just a moment of silence to recognize all those people who have, perhaps paid the ultimate price in trying to promote peace and freedom throughout the world. We can think about those refugees, those who are displaced and don't have a home at this moment, those who are just trying to emigrate from one area and find a place where they can get their part of the human dream at 12 o'clock. And then after that, we'll kick off with a bunch of other activities.
All right. Well, thank you for getting here today. We appreciate it. We're all going to sing, and all of the pieces that we're singing today have something to do with this theme today. This is the GRCC College Choir, and the first piece we're going to do is called Dry Your Tears, Africa, and it's a song from the movie Amistad, and a beautiful song about the renewal of families in the African culture after having been separated by many terrible things. But your children, Africa, your children are coming home. Dry your tears, Africa. All right, here we go. All right. Well, did y'all know that was what it was about? No, you didn't. First time I've told you, right? Okay, this is not the time to be wimpy. Step up and let's do something, okay? Here we go. And ready, and Concert choir, come on up. Concert choir, come on up. Sorry, I was... Okay, so the group that's coming up now is the GRCC Concert Choir. And by the way, if you're sitting out there saying to yourself, why am I not singing in one of these groups? That's an excellent question. So I want to say that's an excellent question. So if you want to know more about these choirs, and our choirs here are open to all students at GRCC. You don't have to just be a music major. Anybody's welcome. And there's information about our choirs if you go to the website of the college, grcc.edu/music. And in the left column on the way down, you'll see a link that says vocal program. Click on that and you'll find out everything you need to know about these choirs, okay? grcc.edu/music. All right, thanks very much. So here's our concert choir, and we're going to sing a piece called The Pasture. And this piece is about, it's the poetry of Robert Frost, and it's a sort of an intimate piece talking about world peace. The piece is just essentially about wanting to have the company of someone whom you really want to be with whom you really want to be. And just the joy of the company of people that we love. That's really what the piece is about, okay? So, The Pasture by Z, that's a letter, that's his first name, right? Z, whatever that stands for, Z. Randall Stroop, The Pasture, GRCC Concert Choir. Okay, thank you. I'll call you back in a minute. Magical singers, here we go. All right. Just wanted to take a minute to introduce our wonderful accompanist, Dr. Kenneth Boss, who's on the music faculty at GRCC. And the young man who played the bongo for us, or the djembe, let me get that right, the djembe in the first song that we did, Micah Carabalesi. There he is. Okay. All right. Good. And so this is our madrigal singers, and we're going to sing a song called Come Dance and Sing. And it's just a song that is just full of the joy of life and how much of a joy it is to be among friends and those whom we love. And that's about it. You know, it's World Peace Day. We're not supposed to be doing about hate today, right? That's a day that we don't even have on our calendar. There's no such thing as World Hate Day, right? We just don't have that anymore. We're done with that. We got done with that after I was about 10 years old. We're done with that now, which was a long time ago, right? Okay. So anyway, thank you for being here today. We're going to do this and then bring everybody back up together for a final song. Come dance and sing, GRCC Madrigal Singers. All right. That's called improvisation. It's just like jazz. You just make up stuff. Is it right? Yeah, that's it. Oh, well. All right, you ready? Have a good time, guys. Heads up. Let's have some fun. Ignore my mistakes. Sing well. Ready? And one. Kept staring at the second soprano part so I would never get lost. Hello. Hey, come on back up, Pat.
Come on, Phil, I got you. I always got you when I can. Right here, okay? Back just a little bit, right there.
Hey, buddy. Go get him. Okay. Perfect. Perfect day, right? All right, good. Step on back. Let him through.
That's Queen.
Help him get through.
Yes, Emilio. Slay me.
Cal, where you at? Where you go?
You're gonna sing bass? Baritone again?
Whatever you want.
Baritone. I want to hear that baritone part just a little more.
Right. Hear it now. Now, where were you? So how about this? So we step over just a little bit. Thank you. We need to get you right in here. Right, and then can you guys slide down just a little bit? So
Hey, altos, you can see me. Everybody can see me. Everybody.
okay, good?
Guys, you guys can see me.
All right, thank you for your kind attention. The last song we'll do combines all the choirs together, And it talks about that day when we're all going to be united in peace. Whenever that day is, we're all waiting for that day, are we not? River in Judea. And when we get to that place, we will be at peace. So thank you for celebrating and caring about World Peace Day today. And we just wanted, this is our little tribute to that time when that peace is actually going to come. It's going to be a part of our lives in our world. River in Judea. Our conductor is Emilio Rodriguez.
We have to wait for Dr. Barney. Hold on. Guys, have fun. Smile. Yes. I don't like these. Good? Did he fall?
We're good, good.
Oftentimes I dream of music, of the river that freely flows, and it sings a song sweeter than honey on every body knows. I believe it keeps on traveling, but it rests on the
Okay, good afternoon. Some of you have been here for a long time today, and I really appreciate your hanging out, spending the day with us, beating hopefully a bracelet in the back corner or making an origami animal or heart, but checking out the day. So today we've talked about all the variety of ways that you can be involved in making peace happen. And it starts with simply how we're talking to our fellow student here at GRCC and expanding ever outward to our community, to our nation, and finally to all the countries of the world. So as you go about your classes this semester, think about if you're learning a concept or an idea in a business class or a history class, take time to reflect on how that can inform you or guide you to research and look into what's going on in other places of the world. We always hate when history repeats itself, especially the bad things. So let's try to think of fundamental ways in which we can create better memories for our children when they're reading the history books. They can say, look at what the generations before us did. You are an empowered generation. You have strong voices. I'm really excited about our next guests who are coming up. The Diatribe. They are a youth-centered creative nonprofit, and they empower students through the spoken word. They offer seminars and workshops to various schools around the area, and they give kids a chance to express themselves, to find their voice, and to exercise that First Amendment right, first and foremost. We're really excited to have them here, and you are going to be just wowed by this performance. But also I want to mention that they are sponsors of or hosting the Grand Showcase, which is coming up on October 6th. If you have an interest in spoken word poetry and interest in that at all, you should definitely check it out. It will be the largest spoken word event you will ever attend in the Grand Rapids area. They have 3 nationally recognized spoken word artists who are coming, in addition to some of those very students that they help give a voice to in their workshops and seminars, and local poets as well. So please check that out on October 6th. It's at Fountain Street Theater, just right here across the walkway, or the road, which is walkway right now because it's not open. So please, let's hear it for the Diatribe. Thanks. Yep.
What is going on? How are y'all doing today? Good. I need way more than that. How are y'all doing today? Good. Thank you so much. We brought a ton of gems and goodies and whatnot over here. So if you come and see us over here, we have a bunch of free pop sockets that we're giving out. So please, please, please come take one. We have a bunch of stickers. We have little pamphlets that say all the different work that we do, and we have an email list. So if you're ever looking to work with the youth and volunteer, you can sign up on that. Or if you ever want to see any of the big events that we do, kind of like the Grand Showcase, if you sign up, we'll shoot you little reminders once every other month. We won't blow you up too much though. So we're gonna kind of go through with y'all. We're normally used to working in big theaters and auditoriums. So it's kind of strange that everybody is so far away from me. But we're gonna kind of bring you guys through what is normally seen as an assembly. We're gonna share some pretty honest and some heavy stuff with you all. So I ask that you be as respectful as possible. And if somebody walks in here being really, really loud, we normally have a nightlife event where it's people yell things at those people. We're not gonna do that here though, because we're on a college campus. But if you can just politely tell them to shh, that would be fantastic, and I would really, really, really appreciate you. You can do it aggressively though, you can aggressively shh. It doesn't need to be a polite shh. Yeah, as aggressive as you'd like. So my name is Fable. I'm the poet laureate of the city of Grand Rapids. The thing that makes me really, really happy about that title is that I'm the first person of color in city history to be named poet laureate, and the youngest person in city history to ever hold the title of laureateship. But the thing that I'm most proud of is our nonprofit organization, the Diatribe. We go into schools and we share really, really, really heavy subjects with the students in hopes that they'll connect with one of our stories so that we can inspire them to start unpacking the issues that they've been going through. I grew up in a pretty rough and toxic household. At about 7 years old, my little brother's dad, my stepdad, came into our life. He had an issue with heavy drinking, in narcotics. And whenever he would get high and whenever he would drink, he enjoyed putting his hands on me. And at about age 14, I was diagnosed with anxiety, bipolar, and depression. And when you're struggling with feeling safe and secure in your own head, and when you don't feel safe or welcome at home, you just constantly are bouncing around with this feeling of displacement and that you're not really you're not really welcomed or valued anywhere that you go. It wasn't until about sophomore year in high school, I was bombing a high school English class, and an educator pulled me aside and was like, yo, I do not want you to fail this class. I'll make a deal with you. Just turn in some written something every day and I'll pass you. And I was like, all right, bet. So I started writing song lyrics and raps and short stories and turning them in. And midway through the year, the teacher was like, hey, I can see that you like hip hop. Did you know that Tupac was a poet? And I was like, okay, lady, like you don't know what you're talking about. And then she like came out of the blue with this book of poems from Tupac Shakur. And she was like, just dive into this, and went out on a limb. And I started flipping through the book, and I'd never been so inspired in my life. So every day I started writing poems and turning the poems in. And at the end of the year, she was like, have you ever thought about being a writer? And I was like, no, absolutely not. I thought about passing this class. I thought we had an agreement, but apparently you were thrown off somewhere along the line. But she sent me to this writer's camp that was ran by a bunch of poets. And they kind of showed me that poetry could be anything that I wanted it to be. It could sound any way that I wanted it to sound, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it because it gave me a voice, but more than anything, it gave me control of something. Because in my life at that point, I didn't have control of anything. I didn't feel safe anywhere, and this is somewhere that I had control of, and I could talk about what I needed to talk about, which was growing up in an abusive home, rooted in substance abuse and molestation and violence. One of the things that I treasure more than anything is my mom. I was raised by a dynamic single mother. Is there anybody in here who was raised by a single parent? Anybody by raise of hands? Can you guys put your hands together for incredible single parents? My mom is one of those rock stars. She worked like 3 jobs to make ends meet and put Payless shoes on my feet and hand-me-down clothes on my back and take me to barber shops like Fantastic Sam's where they just like mess up my lineup and I get like clowned at school. She did all those incredible things. But the most incredible thing I think that she did, in my opinion, is she recorded the first 5 years of my life onto cassette tapes. Everything from my first steps to my first words to every argument that she and my biological father got in. And she made this choice partly because she's like really paranoid and didn't want me to resent her for anything, but also because she wanted me to go through the journey that she was going through at age 22. So on my 22nd birthday, she started sending me these cassette tapes every single year. And I, being a wet behind the ears 22-year-old, I went to my mailbox expecting like money and a card, and there was no money. There was just this random cassette tape. So I was like, how do I play this? So I had to go to like Family Dollars so I could find a cassette tape player. And when I put it in, I was blown away, because hearing your mother's voice at the same age that you are, there's something like magical and powerful about that. And every year I started to look forward to go out to the mailbox and to get these tapes and dive through them. But about 2 years ago, I went out and there was an envelope with handwriting that I had never seen before. And when I put the cassette tape in, it was a voice that I had never heard. And it ended up being my biological father. And he went on and on for 30 minutes about why he couldn't and wouldn't ever be in my life. And it made me so mad. And I'd already grown up using like violence to lash out and using stupid toxic coping mechanisms, like using stuff like drinking. And that night, it being my birthday, I was like, you know what, let's go to Kalamazoo and drink about it, right? Let's use that way to handle it. And I went to Kalamazoo and I turned up with a bunch of friends, and one of them found me a DD. And when we were on the way to Grand Rapids from Kalamazoo, on the way at the end of the night, our DD, who I'd never met before, was driving back and saw a police officer in the median, was like, I'm not going back to prison, bro, and hit the gas. And I'm like, bro, when you hear somebody say these words and you're in the back of their car, you're immediately like, what did you just say? And he's like, bro, I'm not going back to prison, bro. And at this point, the car is moving so fast that you can feel the momentum of the car moving. And I'm just like, bro, you gotta slow. Bro, you gotta slow down, bro. And he's just like, no, man, I can't. And he's floating. And I'm like, bro, you're a white guy running for the police. I'm not. This is not gonna work out well for one of us. And he's just floating. And he goes to get off on the Gun Lake Casino exit. And he's like, bro, I can't. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Yanks the wheel, blows it through a median, and rolls the car into the Gun Lake Casino parking lot. And I remember coming to, and there being dust all around. And the windows are blown out. And I remember getting out of the car and thinking to myself, like, how did I get here? Like the year before, we were in 20 different schools. I was speaking at universities across the country. And now here I am, unable to pack this one thing, right? Like not at peace with myself. And all of this spirals out of it. So this poem that you're gonna hear is about that. And if you grew up in a single parent household, if you're currently struggling with vices or things that you can't unpack, this poem is for you. So back in the day, when I was really, really young, I remember telling all the other kids at school that my dad was a superhero and that he was just so busy saving everyone else to have any time for me. As I grew older, I'd refer to him as Santa Claus, a man of folklore and unfathomable presence that only really came upon the mind once or twice a year when it's cold and you're entertaining the thought of warmth. Feeling whole instead of mason jar with firefly, you see my empty spaces always lit up when I'm the darkest. Today, for what seems like the 100th time, I listen to my biological father figure whisper me bittersweet nothings via a cassette tape delivered in an envelope postmarked 1988. A symphony of can't do's, won't do, should haves, and will nevers. 20 glorious minutes of why he can't and won't ever be in my life. How thoughtful of him. He should have titled it, The Real Reason You Don't Have a Dad. Sealed it with a kiss, or his cologne, or some sweet lovey-dovey movie stuff instead of getting my middle name wrong on the outro. A wholehearted middle finger post sucker punch below the belt. You know what? Let's throw a biting through my cartilage cheap shot metaphor in this part right here. Nah. Let's save the beautiful imagery and fancy wordplay for a poem not about him. This isn't that poem. This will not be his poem. I will not give him something to be proud of. Why do you think I used to live my life like that? 2 parts self-abuse, 7 parts fearful of success, 1 part neglect, no part self-love though. I wasn't gonna pick up where he decided to leave off. I will leave it there on the shelf with the cape that he never chose to wear, in the closet with the other childish fantasies. 2 years ago, I thought I saw a god from the back seat of a Lexus coupe. He looked like a coked out felon. He smelled like fear in recovery. He chose to total the car going nearly 100 miles an hour and made me realize that I am only a human. He had my life in his hands, disposed of my existence, disregarded. He had a soul in the back seat, trying to turn a fable to an anecdote. I climbed out of the total car, kissing the ground the way the police like us to us. Black. Thank you, Dad. I appreciate this gift, but my life, it keeps spiraling out of control. I bet he's proud. I'm now a hurricane of heartbreak and the ugly stuff. What am I doing here? How did I get here is what I used to ask myself so many nights, mouth tasting like, well, something, because, well, I had to use something to make myself feel better before I used someone, but I know that I got that from him. I always rewind and play back the part where he talks about his love life. He says, son, my son, I've never been any good at relationships. You can ask your mother this one day. I never asked her. I never wanted to know. But you know what's the worst part? Is that he ended that cassette tape with a poem. Before he even knew what I'd become, he ended it with a poem for months. I hated poetry. I would hear him speak at open mics and out of my students' mouths. I watched him turn my safe haven into this battleground of self-discovery. I fell into my vices, hoping I wouldn't land in them, and wake up to just another day of picking up pieces of myself. But back in the day, when I was really, really young, I remember not being broken. I'm working to find that boy again, and when I do, I will shower him in comic books and cartoons. I will tell him not to look for his father there. I will tell him that if he gives his all to these kids, to his community, if he inspires somebody, then one day he might actually become a hero. At least to somebody. Thank you. Now, before I call up this next individual, there's some things that y'all can do if you like what you hear. And one thing that you did was great. You guys were attentive, you were listening. But one thing you can do if you really like what you hear is you can snap. Can I get some snaps, some snaps, some snaps? You're not going to mess an artist up if you do that on stage, right? They're just going to give you more. One thing you can do if you really like what you hear, you can clap. Can I hear some clapping, some clapping, some clapping, some clapping, some clapping? Does anybody know any other noises you can make if you like what you hear? That's a good one. Any others? Yeah, that was really monotone, but I like that you did it. Yeah, that's good. Do it just like that. Any noise you want, if you give that to the artist on stage, they're gonna give you even more. Everybody, please put your hands together for another member of the Diatribe. Put your hands together for Foster, AKA Autopilot. Put your hands together for Foster, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Foster. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I got into writing towards like the end of high school, and what I found out is that you have like two people that I had in high school that tried to. One wanted to encourage me, and the other one did not. The one that did not, she was about this tall. Her name was Miss Rop. She looked like a squirrel. Her hair was like all over the place. If you guys see her, tell her I'm looking on her and she has to fight me on sight. So, and the other person was Robert Gibner. He was my 12th grade AP English teacher. And this guy always inspired me and encouraged me. And he definitely helped me to pursue writing a lot more. And then 9/11 in 2001 was one thing that also like really made me reflect upon my writing. And I remember exactly where I was at. I was driving back from a dentist appointment, and we were listening to the radio as everything was happening. And I wrote a thing called 18 Minutes of Reflection, and I handed it in to my professor, and that professor was like, yo, you really should share your story with everybody. And so that forced me to start thinking about things that I've experienced and went through in life. When I was in the 7th grade, my father was sick. He was misdiagnosed with cerebral palsy, and what he had actually was the first of its kind. It was like when everybody started having strokes, or when it was finally starting to be mentioned. So I watched my father change from being the head of the household to my mother becoming the head of the household, and me being like, try to be as helpful as I could. I started to work multiple jobs, and I was just helping my parents out, and in any way that I could, you know, whether it was being home with my dad or like driving my sister around, like doing anything to pick up around the house to help my mom. And what you learn about yourself is that, man, like sometimes you stop being a kid and you have to deal with life as it comes to you, and you don't realize until you get later that certain things are very traumatic once you go back and think about it. I've also a hip-hop artist. I was in a group called Gray Theory. I got to travel around the country. And another thing that I experienced while I was achieving some sort of success is that I was losing some of my biggest fans. So I lost like 2 grandmothers, a grandfather, aunts, cousins, and then later on I lost my father, who was also like one of my best friends. And I never really started speaking about it until I like found poetry, and what I found is that it helps you to reflect. And this is one of those pieces that I had to get out to share with people because they never like really heard my story. And because we've been performing like all crazy lately, I didn't want to like lose my voice, so I'm gonna read this one for you guys. And it's called No Children's Book. No children's book has ever started off when Dad got sick that I can think of. Not the Berenstein Bears, Goosebumps, Highlights for Children, Ricky Tikki Timbo, No Sarimbo, Chari Barirucci, Pip Perry Pimbo, nothing. In fact, that book didn't even have a father, only the old man, but see, I had a father. He was strong and black, a husband, a brother, a cousin, a friend, an uncle, a neighbor, a provider, a protector, a hustler, a godfather, and a listener. He was also a diabetic, dealing with pills and strokes, defibrillators, heart attacks, depression, anger, sadness, cigarettes, low potassium, leg cramps, surgeries. He had a bad equilibrium like a broken seesaw, waterway issues, and amputation. And here I am reflecting back on my kid-friendly education instead of how my life changed because my father's did. See, let me write a real version of my book of life. I can't draw, but picture this as the beginning. See, I knew something was wrong when my mother answered the phone, tired as she always is, half asleep, half drowsy, but awake enough to make sure my sister and I didn't set the house on fire while cooking dinner. "Hello," she said, followed by her legs giving out like kicking a chair from underneath you, slumping into her favorite napping place, breathless, in shock, whispering, "Oh God, no, I'm leaving now." It's hard to hear your mother say, "Help me up, crutch, I mean son." See, no children's book ever started off when my father was misdiagnosed for cerebral palsy instead of stroke. No book ever started off when my father's cane turned into a walker and then into rolling circular legs. And no book ever started off with when my father could no longer take the stairs to see me perform. See, no book ever started off with when I had to change my father's diaper, or how many different ways I could show him how to tie a tie now. See, no book ever started off with why is my father's face sagging. And no book would tell you how I used Bazooka Joe bubblegum to strengthen my father's jaw muscles into a smile, into the words, "I love you, I'm okay," and the doctors, "Wow, you're improving rapidly." See, I don't know the book that would tell you that from 1497 Burton Road in Muskegon, Michigan, to 100 Michigan Street Northeast in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that 1,929 seconds is the time that it takes to stop dinner, get in the car, and race to Butterworth Hospital. 1929 is also significant because it was the start of my family's depression and economic hardships and how we battled to stay afloat. No children's book would ever tell you how your hands will continue to tremble when you hold needle-like objects like a pen, your passion, your escape, and how you'll flash back to the last morphine shot you gave your father while holding his hands as he passed, looking into your eyes as the defibrillator constantly electrocutes his failing heart. Beep. No children's book ever shared such intimate, devastating memories like P, beep, T, beep, S, beep, D, beep. But I will always love and remember my father reading them no matter how much they didn't prepare me. Beep, I love you, beep, goodbye, beep, flatline. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rachel Gleason.
All right, I'm gonna try and bring you guys back up a little bit. How you doing so far? Doing good? Yeah. So my name is Rachel. I'm 1/3 of the diatribe. We're super happy to be here today. It's been an incredible day. We've been working, doing assemblies the last 3 days for Art Prize Education Days. We work a lot with young people. And we always talk about what writing means to us. And for me, writing is something that's been a part of my life since before I really even liked writing things down. I was always making up stories and had these ideas and these songs and things like that. It wasn't until like 7th grade that I started writing them down. But I was really passionate about it through high school, and it was always something that got me through some really hard times in high school. And I actually remember I had a teacher, a creative writing teacher my senior year. I think I went to visit him after I graduated, and he said, "You know, Rachel, you're really talented, but people that are less talented than you are gonna surpass you because you're lazy." And I was like, damn, just okay, tell me like it is. But I was reflecting on that in recent years because I kind of got away from writing even after college. And that I really allowed that to inspire me. And so I started hanging around in places where people were doing spoken word. I started hanging around these guys. I saw them creating shows and being movers and shakers in their community and working for things like peace and peaceful ways to demonstrate and talk about what's going on in your life. And I made sure that I was showing up and kind of like wiggled my way into what they were doing to be a part of that. And so it's kind of that message from that teacher that inspired me to do that. But a little bit about my background and growing up and a lot about what I write about now. We all have very different backgrounds and very different stories of growing up. So for me, I didn't recognize abuse that was happening in my life because I thought there was only like physical abuse. But I grew up in an extremely emotionally and spiritually abusive church. I refer to it as a cult. It was an evangelical Christian cult, a branch off of Pentecostal. And from a very young age, I had Sunday school teachers that forced me to speak in tongues when I was 10 years old and didn't understand what was expected of me. I was called as a prophet when I was 13 and was expected to prophesy on the spot, like go. So like weird stuff like that. It was like, this is not how this is supposed to work. And that was something that like still follows me to this day, that I'm still processing and working through. Another thing that I learned in church and growing up in the home that I did, that was that being gay was one of the worst things you could be. And that was taught to me by reactions to gay people, from things that the pastor said in the pulpit, and other things like that. And I remember especially thinking, like, the word lesbian is like so, I mean, like, that's just an ugly word. And I thought that like masculine presenting women, even though I was a tomboy when I was young and was like proud of it, just thought that masculine presenting women were ugly and hated men, and no one ever told me that wasn't true. That was only reinforced. So when I got to be 18, 19, I came to this huge decision because I was really a leader in my church among the young people. I was really trying to be that prophet that they wanted me to be. And so I had this choice to continue on this path and be this prophet and this uplifted person and sacrifice everything for God and be this martyr, and be lifted up in that place, or to walk away from everything and lose everything and have no idea what my life was going to be. And that was the choice I made. It was the hardest decision I ever made in my life. And it was the hardest year I had. I lost everything. I lost all of my friends. I lost my faith. I was struggling with my identity and who I was and creating my own moral network. And it was extremely difficult. And I've been telling the kids that we've been working with recently that if my 10-year-old self could see me right now today, she would be terrified. Absolutely, like, what? And that's because even though she could see that I'm in a healthy, loving relationship, even though I'm out and proud and happy, she would know how much it was gonna hurt to get here. And it did. But I don't regret anything, because oftentimes becoming who you are hurts, but it's always worth it. It's always worth it. And oftentimes we can't see the beauty and the pain when we're going through it, but masterpieces are forming that whole time, and it's always worth it. And oftentimes we think and we're taught that we have to earn love, but true love is free, and we are all worthy of that. And that's something that I'm still learning and telling myself, because I still have bad days. I still struggle with low self-esteem. I still struggle with negative thoughts and suicidal ideation sometimes. And that self-love is a constant work. So this poem that I want to share with you is about my journey with my gender identity. Because like I said, growing up, I was a tomboy. I also had an older brother who was extremely abusive in a lot of ways, verbally and physically, constantly putting me down, constantly pushing me around. And I could just see this hatred in his eyes, and his power over me shaped a lot of my ideas about what it meant to be a boy and what it meant to be a girl, and ideas of strength and masculinity. So this poem is about that. It's called Rambo Renegades. When I was young, I was proud of the bruises on my legs, of the dirt stains on my plain white t-shirts. When I was young, I was so proud of that denim vest I bought from Target with my own money, the closest I could get to that outsider's look. When I was young, I wanted to be a greaser, a Rambo renegade, a street rat with a heart of gold. When I was young, my brother used to run inside yelling, "Mom, Rachel's playing Aladdin again and she's not wearing a shirt under her vest." When I was young, I used to draw pictures of shirtless men with muscular contoured chests. When I was young, I wanted to be a boy because I wanted to be strong, and I thought only boys could be strong. When I was young, my brother used to hold me down, and sometimes the look in his eye would scare me. Sometimes I can still feel him holding my biceps down with his knees, hear his words from between gritted teeth, "Open your mouth." And when I finally did, he spit. When I was young, I went to the gym with my mother one day. And I thought that when I got home, I'd have big muscles, that I'd be stronger than my brother, and I couldn't wait to see the look on his face. When we got to the gym, I went straight for the free weights. I stood at the rack in front of the mirror and watched my grin fade as I realized that only the smallest ones weren't too heavy for me, and after only a few badly formed curls, even those were too much for me, and I quickly realized that changing your body isn't done quite so easily, and on the car ride home, I cried with my face to the window and couldn't quite put a name to what I was feeling when I was young. I wanted to be a boy because I wanted to have a girlfriend. And when I realized that in my world that wasn't a possibility, I cried with my face in my pillow and I couldn't quite put a name to what I was feeling. And I was young, younger than 10, the first time I cut myself on purpose. And I could stand up here right now and show you all the scars that I gave to myself when I thought that in order to be seen as strong, you had to prove that you'd been through battle and I'd been through battle. I just wanted the evidence to be physical, my toughness to be visible. But isn't it funny how really these scars just made me look weak, like I needed someone to save me, and maybe I just needed someone to save me from the misguided belief that strength is tied to masculinity, that masculinity is tied to maleness, because now that I'm older, I can understand the hierarchy. Now that I'm older, I can address my own misogyny. Now that I'm older, I love being a woman. I love being a woman that loves other women. Now that I'm older, I can finally put a name to all of those confused feelings, because I've realized that all I've ever wanted was the freedom to be me. And now that I've claimed that liberty, I find I'm just waiting for equality. Now that I'm older, I don't want to be strong in order to hold my brother down. I don't want to hold any of my brothers down. I just want us to stand hand in hand, and maybe together we can show the next generation of young women that they can be whatever they want to be, that there is a strength inside of them that the world is waiting to see, that they are Rambo renegades, and they don't have to change a thing. Thank you so much. Please keep it going one more time for Fable the Poet.
So I don't know, also, as anybody leaves, if you want to take a sticker or a pop socket, please do it. Please, please, please. Stickers, pop sockets, take it. You can put them anywhere, but don't put them on like the police building, because I don't want to get blamed for that. I feel really, really honored to be at GRCC on World Peace Day, but it feels like really, really, really strange at the same time, just because like peace is something that I don't know if for a long time I would ever tie to myself or at any point in my life. I've never been a person rooted in peace or a peaceful person. From my upbringing to just later years, I've always like kind of craved chaos and destruction. Do any of you ever remember seeing like fights in your schools, like in your high school or anything like that? Has anybody seen a fight in their high school? A few of you? A lot of you just went to schools with no fights? That sounds crazy, going to schools that don't have fights. That's nuts. My schools had a lot of fights, and unfortunately, I was that kid in those fights a lot of the time. I want to say I got suspended probably more times than I can count on like my hands or toes. I probably knew my in-school suspension person. I don't know if you call him a teacher better than I knew a lot of my actual teachers. But also due to my upbringing, there was something really comfortable about destruction and chaos to me. And one thing that I find is a lot of our students also crave that. A lot of our students get suspended a lot. A lot of our students get in fights often. And I tend to find that they mirror my story and how I grew up. The next poem that I'm going to read is about a student at Kellogg'sville. And the reason that I read this, especially on a day like World Peace Day, is because a lot of the people who grew up how I grew up, that are more prone to violence than ever looking for peace, tend to always end up the same way. And this story is for all of our students at Kellogg'sville. And I hope it means something to you. I started that morning the same way I would start any other day. scrolling through Facebook endlessly the same way you approach the refrigerator again and again, as if you'll find something you hadn't seen the last 20 times you looked. I told myself, roll over and go back to sleep, because tomorrow you have to nurture the young minds of Kellogg'sville into fruition. I roll over, but I keep scrolling, eagerly reopening that refrigerator door, and it hits me like the smell of year-old forgotten leftovers of Thanksgivings past. The WZZM Channel 13 news headline that read, "Kellogg'sville teenager gunned down while exiting the bus." I start to pray. I ask, dear God, please don't let it be one of our kids. Hours later, I continued to pray. This time, the pew was porcelain, palms grabbing its sides for life, yet I was familiar to the position, head lowered, eyes closed, head hung over, spewing out guilt as if I would be, until my eyes collide with the following headline that reads, "First-year student from Pennsylvania slain during murder robbery." I selfishly thanked God, as any temporary narcissist would, until I start to see news comment after Facebook news comment branding that young boy's skin the same way they would have in the day, painting him in what they see is the only true shade of black, with comments like, "He clearly had it coming." He was no saint. And worst of all, the comment that read, "What did you expect?" before the body was even cold enough to be in the ground. As if young white suburban kids aren't falling to the new fads of taking squad pics by the thousands. But when slain, you don't see little Ryan on the news throwing up signs with his crew. He is draped in a graduation gown. We got these brown kids dying unarmed in the street. That was a peer of our students. It was so near our students, but it's all near our students. I walked into class that day baptized in Listerine, spewing out truth not as fresh as the breath uttering them. Minutes later, I was reborn as one of my star pupils says, "Mr. Fable, that was my ex-boyfriend. Today I wrote a poem for him." A teacher fumbling over the fact that one of the murderers was a student in our school last year. I badly wanted to open their eyes to the fact that now more of us would be seen as violent due to the actions of their peers, that brown eyes can quickly turn to bullseyes from pupils of blue and whites as they sing "Ring Around the Maybe You Shouldn't Have Got So Loud" during the memorial. I stomach that respectability stuff, once again feeling nauseous, finally realizing it's time to mourn. Failing to realize that every morning I myself scroll and scroll and scroll, desensitized to the constant headlines, failing to realize how hard so many work for this. Not long ago, slain black lives didn't even make the plain black text appearing of much less relevance. I went home and I crafted our assignment for the following week. It was simple: kids, write about why you will never get used to this. Do it in plain black text. And let's give these people in Grand Rapids something to talk about. One last time, everybody, please put your hands together for Foster. Everybody, put your hands together for Foster.
Man, there's so many things like I think of when I think of peace, and one thing that I hope for is equality. I think we haven't achieved it yet. I think we pretty much don't know the definition of it yet, and I think there's so many things that constantly happens that proves that equality is not here yet. There was an incident with the 5 young men that were leaving the Kroc Center because there was violence happening, and they tried to just get away from it. And they were pulled over by gunpoint by the police. And the only thing the police said was that we followed protocol and everything. One thing that we try to do is teach the youth that they have a voice. One thing that I try to say to everybody is, like, you can say whatever you want. You just got to be ready for the consequences and repercussions of everything that you say. So what I did was I looked at that video and I took the words of the police officer and then I turned it into this poem. And what I want, as far as like a peace and equality, is I don't want this to happen in a white neighborhood. I don't want this to happen in a black neighborhood. I want for reform. I want for change. But this piece is called Things That Doesn't Happen in Forest Hills or Cascade or East Grand Rapids. Boys, stop. Hold it right there. You fit the description. No matter your age or accuser or description, you always fit it. Get on the ground now. I said, get on the ground now. Keep your hands where I can see them. Innocent bystander, go back into your house. All you colors comply. Hey, Troy, back up. How do you want to handle this? Okay, calm down, all right? I said calm down and just do as we say. Now give me your innocence on newly purchased body cam, on the news, on repeat, going viral, the moment you cease being a kid. Now let's hear that sullied, tear-filled cry for help for the answers to that question. Why is this happening to you? You're going to learn today, I don't have a heart for black kids. I said keep your hands up, walk back to me, face forward. Now give me the laugh that won't sound the same because you won't want to share it anymore. This is going to crack your voice worse than puberty. Yours will now sound like falsely accused. Then give me your smiles while we're at it. Your mother's favorite, the one all your friends and family will miss. I'll replace it with nightmares and I'll taste this PTSD. You like it, you love it. Now look at this black barrel, your god of destruction aimed at black youth in black part of town, and realize this is actually a stick up. Now give me your mother's tears, her desperate, you don't understand, that's my baby screams. You don't understand, that's my baby screams. Tell her greatest fear almost came true. I agree, she shouldn't let y'all go nowhere. Why'd you leave when a fight broke out? Now you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's too many of y'all in one area. Tell your mother I don't apologize, I won't either. Forget her and your childhood. I'm a parent, but as a parent, my kids nor their friends would never partake in such an experience. I don't have skin in the game. I'm just doing my job, like hate, like soldiers just taking orders. Lots of kids out here have guns. Like I'm not just gonna walk up and ask if they got a gun. I follow protocol. I got a solid foundation, a fraternal order backed by a blue wall of silence, white supremacy roots, suspensions with pay that sound more like vacations. See, I'm a part of a group that watches itself and hardly ever sees wrong or grand jury or indictment or prison. This is Grand Rapids anyway. Can't you read? See, we pull over people of color here at double the rate. You were told this is the second worst place for black people, and yet here you are like gluttons for punishment and pain without rebuke. See, this is the #1 place to raise unblack families. He said, you lucky nobody got hurt. But they did. See, their 15 minutes of pain, famously shown over and over again, will last a lifetime. Every time they see lights, uniforms hear sirens, see GRPD. So look at your impact, officers. I hope one day you do see color like red and white in the shape of a conscious stop sign. Really think about what your contributions are to these communities that you don't care about. See, we can even Google your responses now. To you young men, I'm sorry. Even for this poem, I'm sorry. You're no longer kids anymore, just victims of circumstance and protocol and Grand Rapids. Dear Mayor, this isn't bliss. Thank you. Last time, ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Rachel Gleason.
Hello again. So one thing you may have noticed around the school is there's been posters that have been put up for the Grand Showcase, which is happening October 6th. We are featuring 5 of our students, 5 local artists, and then some of the biggest names in spoken word. We have Natasha T. Miller out of Detroit. We have Ciara Freeman out of Cleveland, and we have Andrea Gibson, who has been touring the world since they won the individual world, or the Women of the World's Poetry Slam in 2009. So we have some phenomenal artists. Check that out. It's October 6th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Fountain Street. Just want to make sure I put that out there. So I'm going to share one more poem. And in thinking about peace and what that means on World Peace Day here today, I think one of the biggest blocks to that to me is judgment of others and condemnation, and those are things that lead to inequality and war and destruction and things like that. And so I mentioned earlier about the church that I grew up in. So growing up, I wasn't taught to see the beauty in a lot of things that today I think are beautiful, and now I see God in a lot more things than I used to. And so the poem that I want to share today is about that, and about letting go of these these views of things that had judgment in them and condemnation, and instead embracing a lot more things as beautiful and having value. Because I think a lot of times we don't place value on certain people's lives and on certain things. So this is called Pipe Dreams. I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe. I believe in pipe dreams, in clouds of blue-gray smoke with brilliant silver linings. I believe in scratch-off lottery tickets, in $2 cash words with big pots and impossible odds. I believe in those fleeting moments of ridiculous hope when you're worshiping the worn edge of that Susan B. Anthony coin, worshiping that friction and praying for the letter T, because a T would change your life forever. I believe in hope for the sake of hoping. I believe in the God of instinct. I believe in the women locked up at Kent County, walking the perimeter of the big pot in groups of 2s and 3s, walking miles in circles, walking miles in circles that would stretch across state lines, for some of them to coastlines, if only they could walk outside. I believe in the God of small things, in knock-knock jokes with X-rated punchlines, in well-weathered faces with deep-grooved crow's feet and even deeper laugh lines. I believe in getting lost as a pastime and crisscrossing double-backed map lines. I believe in remembering the bad times, the being grateful for what we have times. I believe in Stonewall and the riots of '69, when the bull dykes and drag queens decided that their bar had been raided, that they'd been invaded and degraded for the last time, when the trans warriors whipped off their stilettos and wielded them against beat cops with billy clubs. I believe in the beauty of their thick muscles, shifting and sliding beneath sequins and taffeta as they overturned high-top tables, sending smoking ashtrays and half-drunk, lip-sticked beer bottles flying. I believe in that constant, relentless motion, that howl of refusal. I believe in resisting arrest when being arrested means being beaten and maimed and raped. I believe in the kind of rage that silences hate and the kind of pride that renounces shame. I believe in a God of many faces and of many names. I believe in the God of losers, of boozers, of mutts and of tramps and of wannabes. I believe in a God that says, try me. I believe in hopeless cases and dead-end races. I believe in the God of possibility. I believe in myself. I believe in myself the way that children with bath towels tied around their necks believe they are heroes. I believe in myself the way that oil slicks in empty parking lots believe they are rainbows. I believe in the God of rationalization, of delirium and delusion. I believe in the God of certainty. I believe that nothing is certain. I believe in the God of contradiction. And this is the God that rules me. I believe in mutiny, in manipulating reality. I believe in belief for the sake of believing and exhaling clouds of blue-gray smoke with brilliant silver linings. I believe in pipe dreams. Thank you.
So we're gonna do an exercise. It's super quick, super quick. We normally do this in assemblies with rooms of like 600, 700, 800, 900 people. And if we could just borrow everyone who can hear us in earshot right now's time for literally 3 minutes, if that. If we could have everybody please close their eyes and put their heads down. Everybody in the room, eyes closed, heads down. Everybody, eyes closed, heads down. Everyone, even sound person, eyes closed, heads down. Yes, everyone. We're gonna ask you a series of questions and statements. If they pertain to you, put one finger up for every question or statement that you align to and continue to add to those fingers. If you've ever been diagnosed with anxiety, bipolar, depression, ADHD, or any mental health issue, or you feel that you have one and you are undiagnosed, put one finger up in the air.
If you're dealing with grief from the loss of a family member, friend, so a community leader, and it's affecting you, put a finger in there.
If you are struggling with your identity or coming out, put a finger in the air.
If finances ever brought stress into your household, put a finger in the air.
If you're living with someone that's not your family member and it's just frustrating, put a finger in the air.
If you struggle with self-harm and low self-esteem, put another finger in the air.
If you have ever been in an abusive household, be that growing up or now, put a finger in the air.
If you're in an abusive relationship, put a finger in the air.
If you, when you were growing up, if you were bullied, put another finger in the air.
If you have ever been abusive at any point in your life, be that verbally abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive, put another finger up. Now, what we want you to do is we want you to put all these fingers, all the ones that you've aligned with, high in the air. Put all these fingers up, put all these fingers up, put all these fingers up. And I want you to look around the room at everybody who is brave enough to do this exercise. I want you to look at the different amount of fingers that different people have up. Professors, fellow students. One thing that we constantly see, whether it's at college campuses or high schools, is that people naturally break into cliques and groups, right? Sometimes people talk down to one another, people get on your nerves in class and you can't help but want to speak out about them. But one thing we want to implore you to do is to take the time and think about how many fingers that person you want to speak down to or speak up against could have up. Currently, everything that we see in the news and in the media is divisive. I know a year ago, I used to argue and talk shit to people on Facebook all the time, people who made me mad or had different political views. But one thing that I never thought to myself and took myself out of the equation to think about is what stressors is that person facing? What are they going through? What are they going through that I've gone through, and now I'm adding even more to their day because of that? And what I want to implore you to do is after you step out of this World Peace Day to experience, to just be more patient and try to think of that before you react.
Yeah, and I think just being kind in general and realizing that maybe someone you don't get along with is someone that is going through the same things as you. One thing that we talk about a lot as artists is being vulnerable and how important it is to be vulnerable in your art. But even more important is to be vulnerable in your day-to-day life. When we open up and we're honest about what we're going through at any given time, that opens the floor for others to also be vulnerable. And I think there's great power in vulnerability. There's not weakness in vulnerability. There's great power in that.
And then when you're honest, I mean, the next time somebody asks you how you're doing, answer honestly, man. It's okay to have bad days. Sometimes you can have a bad week. I mean, just try to get through it as best you can. Be honest. The more you're honest with yourself and open to other people, the more you find that other people are as well. The other thing that we always ask or always say to people is that just start up a brand new conversation with somebody. Find the one thing that you have in common, and what you find is any friendship or relationship can grow from that point. And one thing that we all have in common is this day, Peace Day, GRCC, us being here in this moment right now, we can build and become the change that we want to see in the world, starting at this point.
So, yes, your homework assignment, if we're allowed to give you the homework, I know we're not professors. Think about the phrases radical vulnerability and radical transparency, right? A lot of people try to be radical in a lot of different ways nowadays. As they both said, if somebody asks you how you're doing, don't feel like you have to say, I'm okay or I'm good. Be honest, whether it's with professors, if you're going through something at home, whether it's with your peers, and start having real conversations about the real things. Don't make it all filler, don't make it all surface level, because that will take away from a lot of that stigma. Thank you all so much for listening to us today. As Rachel said, we have a very big event coming up. All the proceeds from that are going to a lot of different initiatives. In the next few years, we hope to have a theater that we run as a youth center. We're also looking to start programming in a lot of GRPS schools that cannot afford programming. So everybody who comes to the grand showcase at Fountain Street Church is helping that. If you want to sign up for our email list to volunteer, great. If you want to take a pop socket for free just so you can stun on people, great. If you want to take a sticker and just put it somewhere random, just don't say it's me if you put it on somebody's car, great. But thank you all for having us out. We appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Folks, with that, the Grand Rapids Community College World Peace Day 2018 comes to an end. Thank you for those of you who have been here from the start to the finish. Dr. Pink opened us up with some great opening remarks. You've had a chance to craft, to get to know each other. There's been smiles around the table, music, poetry, just a great day. Thank you for all of your participation in this. Now you get to go and try to make this exist in what comes tomorrow, what comes next week, what comes during midterm. And I know it may sound when we say peace that it's a very hippy-dippy, let everything be loose and easy and everyone just get along. Peace means dealing with it. So we're all here to help you deal with it. Let's deal with it together, whatever it is, because it's the different it for all of us. So thank you for a great Peace Day. Have a great rest of the semester, everybody.